mean, do you think that God came down from heaven and stopped the wax museum with a pulse? I don't mean disrespect, okay? I respect you.
We happy.
Hey, what's going on?
Now I want to dance, I want to win, I want that trophy.
I mean, do you think that God came down from heaven and stopped the wax museum with a pulse? I don't mean disrespect, okay? I respect you.
We happy.
Hey, what's going on?
Now I want to dance, I want to win, I want that trophy.
Midnight Movie Salamis. Welcome, everybody. We are live once again. Who just breathed into their microphone like we're playing Call of Duty in 2012? Anywho. Lewis, I don't know what that is. Are you doing some Steven Seagal kung fu, or?
No, I was trying to think if that was me who breathed into the
I'm
microphone.
pretty sure it is. You sound like a little loud. I'm going to bring you down a little. You sound like you're the pilot of an airplane that is going down.
How about now?
Better,
Taking
but
a
now
drink
I'm
of
gonna
his
turn you
tasty beverage
back up.
first.
Hi, everybody. We're live again, believe it or not. Whoops, I fucked that up.
Oh.
There we go. We are doing movies that we've actually talked about doing Tarantino movies for quite some time.
For a long time, yeah.
But that's what we're doing. We are doing his first two to start with. Is this an ASMR review? Yeah, no. I should do an ASMR video, but it's just me like sitting on my chair over and over and just like you can hear how noisy this fucking thing is. Because it's 2 a.m. and you know how like you go into the kitchen and you try to creep to not wake it. I feel like I can't lean back in my chair because it's like and it just makes fucking noise, bro.
Good thing with Discord though is that you can't hear the chair in this one.
No, just my
Because of the
obscenely
filter.
loud flatulence.
You should just do a short video for like shorts where like you're playing at night and you look over and just Jen's sleeping and then you'll lean back and it's just fucking screaming. It's like You look, she's still sleeping. You're like, but then you look at like Yoshi and Yoshi's like, what the fuck?
I'm coming to my desk with like soup and I'm very quiet. And then I sit down and it's like the fucking anime noise. We are doing 2 movies.
Nani?
Even Jen, I watch so much trash on YouTube. Even Jen knows that meme now. It's fucking hilarious. She heard it and she goes, I know what that is. It's like, yeah, because I'm sick in the head. I watch way too much fucking YouTube. So movies we're doing them in order, and we're going to do all of them. So we've got technically coming, 5 weeks of Tarantino, maybe 6, because we were thinking about doing like From Dusk Till Dawn, Natural Born Killers
I'm
was in
surprised
there.
you didn't have From Dusk Till Dawn in there, but that's because he didn't.
So we do, but
Joint effort.
I had those as Alex and I only.
Mm.
So
The off weeks.
I think we've talked about it before, just so everybody knows. Lewis is doing 2 episodes a month. Giovanni will be down to 2 episodes a month. So the way we're doing this is Alex and I got to figure out how we kind of want to proceed with the Just Us episodes, or if we want to take weeks off, or however we want to proceed. But we're going to be doing 2 episodes a month, full staff, all 4 of us. 1 episode will be just a pairing that we kind of chose and put together because we want to watch those movies. Small Soldiers is in contention in my mind, and then you had said Toys as well. I don't remember liking Toys as much. I haven't seen it in quite some time.
Really?
Cool J's a fucking couch in that movie.
I honestly haven't seen it in a while. Robin Williams dressed up like a pedophile. It's like, whatever. I mean, the way he dresses in that movie screams he goes out at night in a van with candy, right? Like,
yeah, it screams, don't talk to my son.
It's the homeless Willy Wonka. So, you know what I mean?
Who's the actress who plays the robot in that movie?
Oh,
sister or the
she's the sister of Cusack, John Cusack.
As a
John
child,
the
watched that
original
movie. I
Horseface.
found her extremely hot.
Ooh.
I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah, like awkwardly. That was my awkward like.
So, no
hot
offense,
girl.
but your child was stupid. He had piss poor
he
taste.
was.
He was just looking at boobs, like, hey, she's got him. That's hot, baby. I'll ignore the horse face.
She was cute back then, but she does have a 5 head going on.
Yeah.
Why is she talking out of the side of her mouth all the time?
But she was a robot there.
I don't know, but even when you see her in Gross Point Blank,
Yeah, she does
she
it there
talks
too.
like this out the side
a
of her
lot.
mouth all the time.
I think of Addams Family when I think of her.
Drew Barrymore. Oh yeah, but is that the
yeah.
sequel?
She
I
plays
think it's 2 that she's
yeah,
in.
that's the second one. Yeah, because the
Uncle
first one
Fester's
was
wife
that
or some
like
shit.
Karen-looking chick. Same thing with Drew Barrymore. She talks, but she has to California.
But she also moves her head.
She
Drew
does,
Barrymore acts like she was hit in the face with a shovel or kicked by a donkey or something. Like
Did
she's
you-
got some
did you-
weirdness.
Did you see those videos of her doing the Megan? Like she dressed up as Megan for her show.
Oh no!
she
So
interviewed-
what is Megan?
She's a show?
Look, oh, she's got a talk
She
show.
has a TV show, yeah.
She literally
So-
had
Yeah.
Justin Long and Corey Feldman on different episodes and cried about how they used to date. She's whack, bro.
So Megan is James Wan's answer to Chucky.
Wait a second.
And
James Wan is the director?
It's a small wonder.
No, he's I think he's a producer. But it's the Jordan Peele. That movie has James Wan all over it. But it's like if he was like, "Oh, so you've seen Malignant, let's do another bump of cocaine and here's this other movie." It's really
Is
bizarre.
it a killer cyborg? Like it's a killer AI or
If you've ever seen the old '80s TV show Small Wonder about the sister robot,
yeah, I remember that show.
Yeah,
it's similar to that, but
it's
like
like
a horror movie.
Yeah, probably loose horror. It's probably more comedy, but I
Yeah,
do.
because I heard it had a lot of comical undertones.
Question: is it OCD if I refuse to rent movies and just wait until they go on sale and buy them?
Nope.
I'm pretty sure
No.
it is because I have a hard no rental policy. I'm weird, like Lewis rents them all the
what
time.
if you like it? What if
I
you
have
like
a
it?
That's
hard
the whole
no
thing, right?
rental,
It's-
you have to buy it
no
later.
buy policy. So
Well, I mean, in all fairness, between my iTunes and Vudu and everything, you're pretty well stocked. Although
So far, I've only rented 2, like the premium rental movies, and that was The Black Phone and Nope. Even though I went and saw it in theaters because I really wanted to see it again, but I can't justify like renting like a normal movie for $20. It'd have to be something like I really want to
so
see.
Nope is that cowboy head alien movie.
Nope is the vagina mouth.
the flying vagina monster. So did any just real quick? Did anybody see that the director of Cloverfield came out and finally said that it was an alien from space? Like we all fucking knew that. We watched the end of the movie.
no, I didn't understand that reveal.
Yeah, the whole
I
thing.
didn't
He
see
finally confirms that it fell down as a meteorite, and what you see in the background is it falling. And it's like, yeah, everybody knew that. Like the whole time, you showed
Sounds
it
like
to
he was
us.
just
Nobody
trying
ever
to
thought
stay
any different.
relevant.
Yeah. Hey, you guys remember Cloverfield? No.
Well, aren't they trying to make like another movie of it?
Probably, dude. I mean, at this point, reboot it though. Like you already made a Netflix movie and then a sequel that had nothing to that. Okay, as much as I like the John Goodman Captain Marvel or whatever the fuck her name is movie, was Brie Larson or is that her? No. Oh, that
No.
was the chick from Scott Pilgrim, Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that
With
movie,
my
but
lighting.
the truth about you're definitely kind of BDSMing it up. The truth about that movie is it's not a Cloverfield movie. It was literally a movie that was greenlit, ready to go, and then they attached Cloverfield to it. It was like,
Yeah, they
that's
just
now a
bought the script.
Cloverfield. You know, I will say the one in space that Netflix did was a Cloverfield movie because it was, I'm pretty sure, ground up in the universe. The stupid movie paradox, whatever it was called.
Oh, I haven't. Oh, that's what it's called. Paradox.
Cloverfield Paradox.
Yeah, I do like
something
the
that.
original
Shit, I
Cloverfield
can-
still. That was back when T.J. Miller was nothing more than a cameraman.
Well, I also thought there was a movie that I thought they were going to purchase, but they made it its own movie, and it's the one with Russell Wyatt, whatever the fuck his name is, Kurt Russell's son.
What is that one called?
What am I thinking of?
I got no fucking
It's
clue.
it's like the Nazi zombie movie.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Overlord.
Yeah, I thought that was supposed to be snatched up for Cloverfield, but
That
I
wouldn't
could be
make
wrong.
any fucking sense. There is so I watched a really weird British, what I thought was a British gangster movie about revenge, and it literally is this mate just fucking going around slaughtering dudes that fucked him over in the past, the whole time looking for his son. They don't really tell you what's up, and then the end of the movie comes. The movie's called Bull, and then the end of the movie comes, and he's like slaughtered everybody. He finds out his son's a hobo under the viaduct, fucking hooked on smack. So at the end of the movie, he drops the son off at a church, and then the priest comes in. This woman comes in, and she looks at him. She's all scared and freaked out, and then they finally show him, and his eyes are black. So then it cuts to every scene where people, because throughout the movie, people kind of have this like, oh, look at him, but never really makes sense. And they finally show it at the end. Every time somebody's got the, oh, look at him, it's because his eyes are black. And then the movie literally ends where he
crazy.
he saves his kid, and then they flash back to basically this guy was lit on fire and shotgunned to death. So I presumed every time like the people were like, oh, it was because they were like, how are you alive? And that's what it was. But then they show so the whole thing, the movie ends where like he basically walks back to the shallow grave they put him in, and just kind of like stands there, and the movie cuts.
So it's like a different Crow.
That was a fucked up movie. Yeah, it's a British like local like. There's just some random violence that's pretty hardcore in it. Like he murders everybody, women, the dudes.
What was the name of the movie?
Bull. I watched it on.
Sounds interesting.
I think it might have been Paramount. It was actually really well done. It wasn't bad at all. It was a little bit like The Crow, actually. When you're right, yeah. But I'd recommend it. I actually dug it quite a bit, despite my massive spoilers there. I've not been sleeping very well lately, so I've been trying to like actually watch movies again and find something to really fucking enjoy, and that was surprisingly decent. I'm tired of watching the same shit over and over. Like they're not making enough good new action movies, man, like at all, or horror movies for that matter.
I recently watched Bullet Train. That was really good.
Yeah,
I dug
like
that
that a
movie,
lot.
Yeah. The movie's awesome. Oh, by the way, Sushi Girl is in the Voodoo. That movie with Mark Hamill, where he's basically doing the Joker voice the whole time. It's part of his character. It's got Tony Todd, Mark Hamill, a handful of other people. I bought it. It was on sale for $5. I mean, I've streamed the movie like 4 times and watched it. I was like, fucking buy it, asshole. So I did. I bought it. It's in the Voodoo if you guys want to check it out. There was another movie I picked up in the Voodoo. I can't remember what the fuck it was though. Oh, Waxwork. I have it on iTunes, but it was the standard def. Voodoo had the high def edition for $5. I'm in.
Noise.
Has anybody had any interest in Infinity Pool?
The fuck is that?
Infinity Pool.
With
is that
Skarsgård and Mia Goth?
The Mia Goth movie?
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what that movie is. I've only seen like.
Is it streaming?
Clips. Like, is it a?
It's for rent for $20 right now. But
okay.
Is it a horror movie?
I don't know what it's about.
It's claimed to be like a horror. Yeah.
I don't like Mia Goth.
I really liked the sequel to X, Pearl.
See, I thought Pearl looked like a better movie than X, but I haven't. It hasn't come in my radar as far as price or streaming somewhere yet.
Yeah, Pearl was really good, but I also really enjoyed X. But Mia Goth is a weirdo. She's been a weirdo.
Well, yeah, and I don't know. I knew a buddy who shaved his eyebrows off for the yearbook photo, and he was a weirdo too. I had a buddy in high school who literally he skinned his head, shaved his eyebrows, and wore like the big ass like Jeffrey Dahmer glasses for our senior year. I'll find the yearbook someday. But for our senior year, he looks like a fucking serial killer.
I worked with somebody who was bald, had no eyebrows, wore a leather jacket in summer, and smelled like spoiled milk.
You worked with Vin Diesel?
And he kind of looked like Uncle Fester.
I smell like spoiled milk because of my family. My kid spilled it on my car seats. So, we are here today. What else is anybody watching? Anything good? There's a horror movie that's supposed to be on Shudder that I couldn't find called, I think, Allegory or some shit like that.
Alec Baldwin.
That I want to watch. Alec Baldwin, the murderer.
Allegory. And also...
Allegory.
On Shudder.
I want to watch
There's a analog horror movie coming out on February 2nd.
Analog, what is that? What is an analog horror movie? Or is that the production company?
No, it's like a stupid filmy word for like almost like the VHS like aesthetic, like found footage.
You hear some of the stuff in one ear and then the other ear has the other stuff.
That would be mono.
I know.
I'm trying to think of the name. It's a very low budget movie that is like
I think I've seen
hit or miss
clips of what you're talking about.
Miss Skinner, Miss something. I'm gonna butcher the name. Anyways, it's a movie that people are going crazy over and or hating it.
Is it streaming anywhere?
It's going to on Shudder. It's called Skinamarink.
Oh, yeah.
Skinamarink.
Okay.
I think it's about there's that one, and I may be confusing it with another one. But I think it's about 2 kids who wake up in a home.
Skinamarink, yep.
It's 2 kids who wake up in a home. All the windows and doors are missing, and it's the middle of the night. And these kids are like, I think Rory's age and maybe 2 years older.
Yeah,
like
and
2 kids, and it's just them running around.
I'm interested in seeing it because it's like very like split on people being like, this is like a visual experience, and other people like, this is a hunk of shit. So
Yeah,
I'm
they
trying
wake
not
up in
to
the
look
middle
up.
of the night and like no windows and doors are on this house
I
So
mean,
anymore.
you
their
did
father
have
is missing.
Completely
Yeah.
gone.
you did have
and
that
the parents
same,
are gone.
You
Like
did have that same reaction to Blair Witch Project when it first came out. Half of the audience thought it looked like
Exactly.
shit. The other half loved it.
And a lot of people who have seen it like at the film festival are like, if you're gonna watch this at home, full dark, headphones if you have it.
Which is
like
how I watch
this
every
is a
movie
like you need
nowadays.
to. You watch horror movies like that?
Dude, I watch horror movies at 2 a.m. in my cave of a bedroom in the basement with no lights. I got 2 prison-sized windows.
No underwear.
No, I have underwear on. There's just no pants. I'm in my home. Fuck off. You break into my home, my dick's not what you got to worry about. It's the barrel pointed at your fucking head. That's
You
what
don't
you
have
got to
those
worry
holy.
about.
You don't have those
I-
holy
no, I-
boxers anymore.
No, my
I
wife
picture-
doesn't allow me to have holy boxers. I used to have holy boxers, and what she did was she bought 30 fucking pair of boxer
And she
briefs.
took that one away. Your favorite ones away.
Basically the ones where like ball flesh is sticking out, fucking, because they got the little Swiss cheese holes. Yeah, no, we got rid of those years ago. All of my boxer briefs are wonderfully in one piece.
No, I picture Matt as like Sex Machine, like you have the pop out crotch gun.
Right? That would be awesome, just a Derringer.
With dual fucking revolvers on the side.
Or what Val Kilmer called it, the other F gun in that excellent movie, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, that I can never remember the name of. If you do have interest, and if you're like me, and I'm an OG gangsta, there is a Cypress Hill documentary I was watching last night as well. It's really pretty fun. The whole thing is there was a dude who would follow them around back in the day and just video everything and photograph everything. And he went through his archives, and he's got all this footage, and they got interviews with the band and everything. And I like Cypress Hill quite a bit, so it's actually a really awesome fucking documentary. Like, I love music documentaries.
It's fucking funny that you should bring that up, because when at the end of Pulp Fiction they play that one song, "Son of a Preacher Man," and Cypress Hill does "Hits from a Bong" with that fucking same tune.
Hits from the Bong and Insane in the Brain. I also really appreciated their Skull and Bones record, which was a double album, if you remember. The one album was all hip-hop, and then the other album was, like, hip-hop and metal rock infused. I remember as being a metalhead as a kid, like, hearing that also. I'm like, oh, that's cool, they did that too. Like, the one dude, Sen, his voice is perfect for, like, rock metal. He's got that deep fucking
I think
voice.
even Puff Daddy did one song that actually infused metal with it that I actually liked.
Well, not metal, Cashmere.
And it wasn't Cashmere. It was another one he did.
Oh, okay. Was that the
I can't
Cashmere
remember the
thing he
name.
did for Godzilla?
Yeah.
That was a pretty good song. But it's just Cashmere with him rapping over it, though.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when they had
There was
Puff
no
Daddy,
hiding it.
When that came out, they had him on SNL, and it was literally just like a drummer, a bassist in the shadows, and then you had Jimmy Page playing the guitar and him just rapping. Very weird. But check out the Cypress Hill documentary. I want to say it was on either Paramount or Peacock. I can't. There's too many P streaming services.
One of the
choose a
Ps.
different fucking letter. Hulu's got H. Netflix has N. Paramount, Peacock. Settle your shit out for P. Somebody go with Zebra. T is taken by
Prime.
Tubi. There's Prime.
Yeah, Prime.
But at least that's Amazon Prime. You can kind of associate that. But then you got Pluto TV. So there's 3 fucking P's.
Pluto TV.
Puto TV. That's what I. The only TV for putos. That's what I watch. But yeah, no, dude, yeah, no, I watch horror movies. I watched Terrifier 2 in my living room, and the only lights in the house that were on was the Christmas tree.
See, that's fine, but I have terrible anxiety. I just bought Dead Space because Matt convinced me. You cannot pay me to play that game with headphones on. I would fucking.
I literally had to do that while streaming
today.
today. I the only way to fucking play it is streaming with the headsets. I will say,
Every game I play, I have to play like this because I'm afraid of somebody creeping up on me.
So one of the things that does fuck.
I know, and you're in the back of the house too.
Yeah.
One of the things that does heavily fuck with me is we have ductwork that runs through, and it's for the heating. So when the heat is on in different areas, it makes noise. It makes on the street. It makes little cracks and fucking noises and shit. And I will be pitch black. If the Christmas tree wasn't up, it's pitch black in the fucking living room. If I watch a movie in the bedroom, it's pitch black in here because she's sleeping. So even no matter where I'm, and then I smoke a little bit of cabbage, and then next thing you know, I'm hearing creaks behind me while watching a fucking horror movie, and it's like, what was that? And then the one time when I played, I started High on Life, And I'm sitting here. It's like 2:30 in the morning. It's pitch black. It's just me with the glow of my monitor. My eyes are just drooping. And in the very beginning, there's a knock. And it goes, doot, doot, and it sounds like a real fucking knock. Like somebody just knocked on my fucking wall right here. And no, I paused it. And I just wide-eyed like I'm fucking in a horror movie in the forest and it's pitch black. And I was like, was that in the game? And so I pressed pause. And I'm like, it's in the game, right? Like, she's dead asleep. I'm talking to myself at this point. Fucking spooked. It's happened to me with the ductwork in the living room where I don't remember what I was watching, but also, like, as you get more and more tired, you start to, like, things that are normally, like, if you move your head too fast and it's 2 a.m. and, like, there's minimal light, you don't think you see a shadow. But when you've gotten 3 hours of sleep a night for 6 days, that 6th day becomes, that was a shadow. What the fuck
You start
was that?
you start getting real life motion blur, like
Yeah, basically, like you start getting hardcore Henry vision, where it's just like I'm inside of a GoPro, and everything is like I'm tired, kabish. So everything is fucking exaggerated. Next thing you know, my ductwork's like, "Hey, here's some heat for you," and it starts making noise. Yeah, every now and then but I'm so desensitized. I'm playing Dead Space 2, and I read that one of the developers couldn't play it. It was too scary.
He couldn't play it at night. Yeah.
And I'm sitting here just like...
I play horror games with what they're called 4D headphones. So what happens is when there's a sound behind your character, it plays behind you on the headphones.
Oh, nice.
So that's, yeah. And I was doing it with the fucking Ghost game on Switch.
If they could do it for that horror game, why
I was
can't they
doing
do
it
that
with
in
Fatal
Call of Duty?
Well, Call of Duty
I know.
sucks. That's why they can. They just don't. Well, the thing is, like, I've played games that are supposed to be scary. I mean, I've played games that legitimately people have said spooked the shit out of them. What's that one? The Mortician's Assistant.
Yeah.
Mortician's Assistant.
Nothing got me in that game. Phasmophobia
Well, a
is
couple
no
of times
fun for
with
me.
with the cadaver, it did get you like to say something.
Well, I
You're
mentioned
like,
it,
"Whoa,
but
okay,
I never had like like I never jumped. You know, Phasmophobia literally bores me because it's just I'm dead inside, I guess. Like I've lost any sort of I don't know. I don't know. Nothing.
What was that one horror game starts with an S? Was it Struggle Within? Not Struggle Within. Something with an S.
Oh no.
Where you turn into like that monster with
the suffering. The
Suffering.
That
Yes.
game back in the day was creepy as fuck. I played that. Now nothing.
When I played it with the headphones, the fucking dripping of the water.
Oh yeah, that game back.
It's raining outside. I'm looking around like, is there fucking drips?
You would hear like the creature running on the ceiling somewhere. Yeah, that game was legitimately fucking creepy.
And these are with the fucking Xbox 360 fucking headphones.
Remember Condemned? Condemned was another one that the first one, not the second one so much, but the first one I remember being legitimately creepy. I played that on PC recently. Nothing. It's just, I don't know. I gotta go watch the Serbian film to at least be freaked out. I gotta tell you, I felt more awkward watching the goddamn Professional than I have any other movie in a long time. Serious pedo vibes, Luke Besson. Like, come on, she's 12. It's weird. I'm not blaming Jean
It is
Reno.
weird.
That's
a good movie too.
Didn't that director just get in trouble?
Yeah, I think he did. It's an amazing movie for
It's a really
sexual
good movie.
advances or some perverted shit. But I mean, French. Come on, they eat the baguette, they molest. What was the from Viva la Bam? Don Vito molesta la bresta.
Is that what it was?
Vito Scalapini. Well, he actually also got fucking arrested for some sort of sexual assault before he died.
Yeah, but for him, that's not a surprise.
He died though, right? You said.
Here's the thing. Yeah, he's dead. Thank God. Rest in power. You can't take a fat fucking piece of trash, right? Give him money. Put him on TV where he goes to Louisiana for
Playboy
Mardi
Mansion.
Gras, where he's openly molesting chicks, grabbing their tits, and they're going, "Yeah, hey Don Vito, let me touch you. Get your sausage fingers over here." Where they give it to him, and then expect the piece of shit animal to rein it in when he needs to go back to real life. Like the dude's always been a hunk of shit. You gave him money, you gave him notoriety. Chicks threw themselves at him. I don't know why. It's literally like fucking fat
eye.
bastard. Well, his googly eye.
Yeah.
The type of thing where instead of shaking the 8-ball, you just shake his head. His eye will tell you the fucking answer. Am I gonna be rich? Come here, Vito. And and it fucking rolls around. Not today. However, there's 2 movies we're here to talk about. Hope you guys like the intro. Took me like an hour to do that. I was watching Pulp Fiction.
I love the scenery view of the woods. Fucking awesome.
You know what? When you do a lick of goddamn work on the intro, you can criticize my stock footage I accidentally put in there. Didn't put it in there, got lumped in with the other. Literally, I just drag and dropped all the photos or the little videos, and I'm just going to assume it's fucking in there.
Still a good photo.
It is a nice photo of the suicide forest.
Was that what that was?
I don't think so, but it was trees. Ask Logan Paul.
Yeah.
First movie we're talking about is his first movie, and that him, not they, them, him, is Quentin Tarantino. Which, does anybody actually get Italian vibes from this guy? Like, he looks like a goddamn Dutchman.
No, not really.
Is he Italian?
Tarantino. That's an Italian name.
I
don't feel like he's Italian at all.
No, he's the most Americanized.
I'm almost
Yeah.
positive.
He's also like
Italian.
borderline like autistic. You think, right? Like
He's got great writing
he's
skills for an
highly
autist.
functioning.
I mean, he's definitely got like, and he says he's been clean all
High
his life
functioning
too.
autistic? You mean a normal functioning person?
No. Like the way he
High-functioning
says
autistic,
things,
yeah.
the way he looks at things, like he looks at you, like it's like what, like
So he's apparently
He's very,
Irish.
his brain is thinking about so much other
talky,
shit.
Fidgety, like
His father is indeed Italian.
But he's like, his brain is like on so much other shit that, but like he's talking to you, but you can see that his brain is working on a bunch of other shit at the same time.
I mean, I think it needs to be said he's a brilliant fucking writer. The only movie that I don't remember loving, but I haven't seen in years, is Jackie Brown. So I'm excited to get to that one so I can watch it.
I've never
again.
watched it. I've never had a chance to watch
Yeah,
it.
I've never seen that one either.
I don't really remember it, so it's gonna kind of be like a first go for all of us, I guess. I think he's a great writer. I think
he's one of the best.
He's not a great actor in the beginning. I think he gets better with every movie he allows himself to be in. But no, his writing is incredible. I mean, these movies, and I think they kind of did it with Hateful Eight, but these movies can all be chopped up into episodic TV shows too, the way they're filmed. Realistically, you could take Pulp Fiction and turn it into a 10-part series. You know, and fluff out a little bit, maybe. Yeah, sure, but you could do it. But Reservoir Dogs is a movie essentially about a bank job, a heist gone wrong, where this
Jewelry store,
where they're getting some diamonds in the bank. They're robbing a jewelry store, and it goes horribly wrong. And throughout the movie, it gets pieced together where there's a rat. There is, you're introduced to each character and kind of their personalities, whether it be Mr. Pink, Steve Buscemi not being happy about being Mr. Pink, or it talks about some of the other guys, and iconic, the first opening scene of them in the diner. So yep. I will never forget the whole conversation about tipping. You dirty bastard, throwing a buck.
Buscemi.
Yeah, I refuse to tip.
I was waiting for him to break out some lipstick and say, I just don't want to tip, and then just start putting lipstick on.
He's so young in this fucking... I will say, Steve Buscemi's Mr. Pink is the only one that's professional throughout the entire movie.
Yeah. But he's still kind of... He's still kind of, to me, doesn't seem like he's believable as that character, though.
Do you guys think he gets away?
No, I said he almost gets away.
Yeah. So you could hear in the background...
The gunshots, right?
Shit.
Yeah, like as soon as he goes out the door, they light his ass up.
Yeah.
Nobody gets away in that movie.
Not even the good guy.
I gotta say, Harvey Keitel, terrible decision he makes to turn on his boys for what we now know is the rat. The ending is also the whole heart, just him heavy breathing, and then you hear him pop Tim Roth, and then the cops light him up. Everybody fucking dies. This movie made Michael Madsen the level of celebrity he became.
Yeah, now he's kind of cuckoo. Have you seen pictures of him nowadays?
No.
Yeah.
With the bandana.
He does look like a crazy man.
Well, he looked weird in Kill Bill fucking how many years ago? With his long hair and his cigarette voice. Like, you hear how he talks in Reservoir Dogs, and now he talks like this.
And
That's
now
a-
that he's older, his eyebrows just went away. Like he looks
Well,
like
that's
a
the
weird dude.
Botox is folding over now. He's got the Frankenstein forehead.
No,
It
I think
looked like
what's
he was a wind tunnel test subject, and they turned the motor on too high immediately, and his face just got stuck like that.
I think
The
I
newest
think
trend in
what's
Hollywood
he
celebrity
used
surgery.
he used the same fucking doctor that Mickey Rourke uses.
I think what's crazy
Dr.
about this
Butcher.
movie is that Tarantino worked at Video Archives, wanted to shoot this film for $30,000, and someone gave this motherfucker over $1 million to shoot this movie.
1.2.
Shit.
Which, I mean, here's the thing that's always weird about this movie to me is the character of I can't remember his color. Harvey Keitel.
White.
Mr. White.
White, yeah.
Mr.
Mr.
White.
White.
Mr. White, Mr. Blanco. Senor
You've got the
Blanco.
good name. You're Mr. White.
It's really weird because, like, throughout the movie, he comes off as like, yeah, I know he's a murderer and a robber, but he doesn't really seem like somebody that would murder people. And even when he tells the guy, like, I got a few cops, you think, like, did you, or are you just playing bullshit? And then they go back to when the cops corner him, and he just fucking Laura Crofts them in the car, and it's like, okay, he's a nasty motherfucker. Like, there's a certain softness he provides in his character in the beginning, and then you kind of throughout the movie understand that, like, no, he's just as hard as these fucking psychopaths are. He's just more controlled.
That scene starts out with him telling him, well, you know, you hit him in the nose, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, make his eyes hurt and shit like that.
Yeah.
He goes, then you cut off the guy's pinky. Like he's like,
Well, no,
he's just,
that's
very
the
calm.
that's the flashback later. See, even that brutality he doesn't show it, and that's when later on, after they're already at the warehouse, when they do a flashback to them casing the place, is where he. But even before then, he hasn't seen that brutal of a dude. Like he basically is kind of playing the same character of the wolf in Pulp Fiction, except his Reservoir Dogs character. By the end of the movie, you know he's a violent. He is basically, you understand that he's kind of been the moral compass of the movie, despite the fact that he's a brutal fucking killer.
His compass was way off. Too.
You know, he literally defends Timothy Roth and kills somebody he's known for decades, presumably, through a lot of shit. I mean, even Sean Penn's brother, I can't remember his first name, rest in power. Even he says, like, it's been a lot of years and a lot of jobs. What the fuck are you doing? I'm not, put the gun down.
Oh, the one that plays Nice Eric or whatever.
Yeah, so for
Nice Eddie,
him,
Nice Eddie.
when he defends him, you still see kind of that goodness of like, I just don't want him dead. And then he immediately goes into that cold-hearted killer mode where by the end of the movie, this dude he was just basically saying is a good guy, he puts a fucking bullet to the head in and drops himself after killing a guy he's known for decades. So it's his character goes from kind of like almost the lovable gangster to the real hard gangster. Like Michael Madsen's just a psychopath.
That's Mr. Blonde, right?
Yeah, Mr. Blonde.
Mr. Blonde,
Yeah, he's the most interesting character to me. Like the way that he portrays the high functioning psychopath that he is.
He's fresh out of jail too. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what his last name is and what character was to portray his brother in Pulp Fiction?
Vega.
Yeah, Vega.
Yeah, they were going to have a Vega. The whole idea was the Vega brothers, but I don't think they never give his actual last name.
Well, there's also
In this one they did, yeah.
There's also
both they
loose
did.
connections, and Tarantino has hinted at all of his movies not necessarily being connected,
But in the
but
same world.
kind of in the same world. Like
Yeah.
there's the movie side, and then the real world side.
They do credit John Travolta as Vinny Vega.
No,
Vincent
but
Vega.
they say his last name in Pulp Fiction.
And then they do say Vic Vega. They say
do
his
they
name.
say Vega?
Yeah.
Okay.
Joe says it when they're meeting
Okay.
with him and Eddie, the three of them.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was something, I think part of it was because I definitely saw Pulp Fiction first. And then I think I saw Reservoir Dogs. Like, Pulp Fiction was the first Tarantino movie I'd watched. Straight up. And I still love it. Reservoir Dogs is a small movie considering, though. Like, when you really think about what it is, the majority of it is in the warehouse. And then you've got the car chase, you've got the shootout and all that.
It's not just any warehouse either. There's fucking caskets in there. There's a hearse over there.
Yeah, it's
like
one of the
side business.
One of the lines Joe says, or not Joe, Eddie, He's like, let's move these cars. It looks like we're having a fucking dead guy sale out here.
Yeah.
The cop scene is, I think, the most infamous scene of the movie.
Yeah.
I gotta. I mean, I don't know how much. Tarantino has said that what they do on screen is what he's written. So you'd have to presume he wrote the whole dance in there, right?
I don't know. Madsen's kind of a weirdo.
It would be cool to know if like that was improvised or if, because Tarantino, I mean, maybe earlier on he was for improvisation, but his stance on it now is no.
Isn't Tarantino known for like, I don't divert?
Yeah, he basically says, I write the script, you read the script, and you do the script.
With that scene, it does lend into all Tarantino's movies. Is that his movies are a bunch of things make up his talent, but two of the things definitely are dialogue and music plays an important part in all of his films.
So
it's kind of cool too that they combined the two brothers with dancing though.
Yeah, well,
in the next movie,
Travolta's like walking. Is he ever in a fucking movie? Like, I mean, motherfucker probably danced in Battlefield Earth.
You know what? I think sometime this year we have to review Battlefield Earth.
That would be fun.
No, that's going to be the next Don't Want to Watch movies.
Yeah, okay, that's one. Remember it.
That's
Remember
yours.
it.
Not mine.
Battlefield Earth.
Mine, we're gonna go deep this time for me. We're gonna be
Mark
watching
Wahlberg, Planet of the Apes,
fucking Van Damme's Cyborg. And Mario Van Peebles in Solo. We're gonna go bad. So in the script it said Mr. Blonde maniacally dances around. Michael Madsen said, and I kept thinking, yeah, he goes, I kept thinking, what the fuck does that mean? Like Mick Jagger or what? What the fuck am I gonna do? So the dance itself was improvised. In the script it said he dances, but there wasn't any choreographing or anything like that.
Okay, but the dancing was okay. Makes sense.
Now, here's the thing about early Tarantino. There's not much more to say about Reservoir Dogs, frankly. It is the beginning of, I mean, it's the first movie in a brilliant writer, and that's why we're doing this, so we can see the growth. And going from Reservoir Dogs to Pulp Fiction, you see immediate growth. From movie 1 to 2, probably, I mean, definitely a higher budget. But before we get into Pulp Fiction, anything left you want to say about Reservoir Dogs? And then we'll go into our hot dogs.
I have a comparison real quick, if that's okay. Quentin Tarantino's acting ability in Reservoir Dogs versus Pulp Fiction. He went from being like a blind man acting in Reservoir Dogs to a fucking angry fucking man in Pulp Fiction.
I gotta say, his portrayal of Jimmy in Pulp Fiction is one of my favorite characters. It's just, the only thing he cares about is getting divorced. She's gonna come home and she's gonna divorce me. I don't want to get a divorce. All right,
not a fucking argument. She's gonna fucking
leave. You think? And there's a bunch of dialogue in the next movie. I mean, there's a bunch of the bad dialogue in Reservoir Dogs too. And it's just, I think the weirdness of Tarantino's dialogue, specifically with the use of the N-word, is it's so nonchalant. Every character that uses it isn't even saying it in like a "you're a blank." It's just in the vernacular. It's odd.
Well, it wasn't.
Oh, good.
I was going to say that it's up to
you guys.
I was going to say I think with Tarantino and his writing, he doesn't shy away from just the way a lot of people fucking talk. Like you hear the shit in movies and people who, people hear the movies, oh my God, I can't believe people would say that. It's like people actually talk like that. Like Tarantino writes dialogue like a normal fucking conversation, and he doesn't care if you find it offensive because that's just how people talk. And I feel like that is kind of like the essence of like his dialogue in all his movies.
You're muted.
You're talking about the early 90s too, where that shit, it wasn't the soft A come out of black dudes' mouths only back then. That shit was open. I mean, it was the Wild West. I mean, that was still at a point of like, fuck you. You don't like it? Do something about it. You know what I mean? Like everybody had a chip on their shoulder. But yeah, his dialogue, it's just weird to me. It's always just come off of just like, they use it. That's how it's said. I mean, I think that was the defense made in Hateful Eight as well, because that movie, I mean, littered with that word. But I think the whole defense was like,
It's
How do
for
you
the time though.
how do you think they talked about them back then?
Yeah,
It
like
wasn't
it
nice.
would be like him writing the movie Django, but they never say the word.
Yeah, well,
Like, are you
it,
fucking kidding me? Like in that period
well,
in time, that was the word.
there is a funny. I was watching one of his. Jamie Foxx did an interview, and
Ah,
he
yeah.
came in and he said that his first, when he got on set and his first day was Django, Tarantino took him into a room and said, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "You're not fucking Jamie Foxx. You didn't drive here in your sports car with your entourage today. You're a fucking slave. So play a fucking slave, because that's what you are. You're not a hero yet. That's later in the movie. Right now, you're a fucking slave." And Jamie Foxx is like telling this story. He's like, "All right, shit. I guess I'm a slave." And then like basically, I guess Jamie Foxx probably came in with his Hollywood kind of bravado, and Tarantino's just like, "You need to cut that shit," essentially. But
I love also the story he told about using the N word in front of
Leonardo
Samuel
DiCaprio.
L. Jackson.
oh
Like,
oh, you have
that
to
story is
imagine.
hilarious.
I mean, how do you think Don Johnson felt when he's literally on the horse going, "We gonna get us a whole bunch of today," and it's like fucking Miami Vice is over here shouting the fucking N word. It's got to be a trip for dudes like that. Or like, I can't believe I'm getting paid for this. Like, what the fuck has happened to Hollywood? But once again, Tarantino's a genius. His movies never not make money. If you're in a Tarantino movie, you're sold. And let's real quick give our hot dogs to Reservoir Dogs. Alex, you are Senor Uno.
For this one, after watching it today, it's like a 4.5 for me because there is a lot of well written shit in here. The dialogue that goes with everybody, especially like you guys are saying at the diner scene. The only qualm I had was Buscemi as being a believable hard ass. Which small guys like him can be a hard ass, but like knowing him from his other roles and seeing him now, it's like it's not very believable. But that was my only gripe about the whole thing. So it's 4.5.
Giovanni?
This is a 4.5 as well. Two things got me with this movie, even watching it again. The fact that this was Tarantino's first movie and the dialogue was written so well blows my mind for a first movie. Like to step out on the stage and do it the way he did it is really, really amazing. And secondly, each character, when they're given in the chaos of the movie, each character when they're given their individual moments, it shines really well. You get a lot of that character in those small moments of movie, even though it's just them and it's a very tiny moment, couple minutes here and there, but their character comes through really strong and you understand their character really well.
Especially when you're talking about guys like Tim Roth, the cop, where you see his character in the beginning where he's a gangster, and then you see his character where he's a cop trying to learn the story and have it down pat to portray that guy. The whole time doing an American accent, by the way.
Yeah, the whole transition of his character from when he's given the script and he has to read it that was fucking genius. Yeah, that whole transition.
No, because doesn't he have like a thick accent?
Oh yeah, he's a bloke.
He does.
Yeah,
you hear it in
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction,
yeah,
you hear it more. Yeah.
All right, so you said 4.5.
4.5.
Lewis, what you got?
I went same 4.5. I remember originally liking this movie because of the dialogue, even before I was like a huge Tarantino fan. And even if you remove the callbacks to other scenes, if you just had the whole movie be the diner, the chase, and just nothing but the dialogue in the warehouse, the writing alone is perfect. And I think a lot of people pass up on this movie for his other films because in his other movies it's still Tarantino dialogue, but it has more action and stuff you can gravitate towards.
Well, it's also got the more known cast. Like Reservoir Dogs, basically, as far as known cast, had Harvey Keitel.
Yeah.
But other than that, most of the guys in it, including Michael Madsen, were relatively unknown. Not unknown, but they were, not big at all. They were still new actors.
Would it have made a difference too if it was linear, like if everything happened in order?
Well, I think that's part of the charm of his movies, isn't it? Where you don't. The way I look at a Tarantino movie is he almost gives you a piece, and then he goes, "No, we're going to go over here now, and we'll come back to that." and then you get a piece of this, and then we go back to the like. Pulp Fiction very much does that, I think, more effectively than Reservoir Dogs. So Reservoir Dogs, if you wanted to make a viable bitch to say that the problem with Reservoir Dogs is the movie's basically only in flashbacks, you're kind of correct, because when it bounces back and forth, a lot of it you're just bouncing into flashbacks, like the whole scene of them casing it, him learning the script, all of that is one big flashback, to where Pulp Fiction is more like, this happened, but this is also happening, but now we're back to this, but then this happened. It's a different, similar, I think a better storytelling device in Pulp Fiction is how he kind of bounces around almost like puzzle pieces, instead of a, hey, by the way, this is what they're referencing. And this is the shootout that we're talking about. And this is the how he got shot in the stomach from the old lady in the car. And you know what I mean? Like, it's all flashback in Reservoir Dog.
Yeah, but 4.5 for, and also the old lady in the car. Just give the guy your fucking car. Like, what are you doing?
I gotta be honest with you. Tim Roth is the bad guy, but it's like, I'd have plugged her too. Cop or not. You fucking shot me in the gut, bitch, with a fucking 38 snub nose.
You can see he had the bad fucking feeling as soon as he did it.
Well, yeah, because he's a cop and he just shot a woman to death.
Yeah.
But hey, you fired first.
Wasn't
Now,
it also
to be fair, she fired first.
the only two people that were carjacked were females, weren't they? Because Mr. Pink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then okay.
All right, I'm gonna differ from you guys. I'm gonna give it a 4. And this movie would be a 4.5 if the rest of his catalog wasn't what it was. Because everything else he's made from this gets better each time, and there will be a lot of 5s in the Tarantino movies from me, I'm going with a 4. Simply because there is a lot of growth he does from movie to movie. Specifically, like I said, we're doing Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. There's enough growth between Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction where I'm going to give Pulp Fiction a 5 more than likely, maybe a 4.5. But and if I give it a 4.5, despite how much I love it, it would just be because then the rest of his movies get better and better. And that's the problem with Tarantino, is I don't want to rate it too high because I can only go to fucking 5. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do 6 out of 5.
So before we jump on, out of all Tarantino's movies, which one do you feel is his best one? I'm pretty sure we all have our own best one. Which one do you think that is?
For me, it's a toss-up between Django and Kill Bill, probably. Kill Bill 1.
I think the greatest film he's put out.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Fuck.
Once Upon a Time, to me, is not only the greatest film he's put out, but like one of the greatest American films ever made.
It is an amazing movie.
I was just saying, my vote was Once Upon a Time.
Fuck, see,
when I saw that, I was super surprised by it.
I got 3. It's Once Upon a Time, Kill Bill, or Django Unchained. Because Django Unchained is a goddamn good movie.
It is.
Also,
and for me, it was Django Unchained or From Dusk Till Dawn, because I love.
Yeah, but he only wrote and helped produce
part. Yeah, he's only part.
I know. That's why you can't really count it.
That's
Death
like saying
Proof is some of his best writing dialogue
Death Proof,
ever.
Fuck, he did
Death
direct
Proof
and
is
write
so
that.
good.
The problem with From Dusk Till Dawn, as much as I like it, is it's almost like saying I love Tim Burton because of Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
For
So
me,
for me, then it would have been Django and Pulp Fiction, because I love Pulp. Like, I
do too.
love Pulp Fiction. It's so fucking good. But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood really took it away from me.
See, but I still feel the best part of the best writing he's ever done is in the beginning of Inglourious Bastards with the rat story. That to me is his. That scene is the single greatest piece of writing he's ever done. As much as I won't say Inglourious Bastards is it's not even my favorite Tarantino movie. I like it, but it doesn't even rank. Like, Pulp Fiction's ahead of it, Django's ahead of it. I'd like it, but it's just that beginning is so well written, and it's all in the performance and the writing. Every bit of tension comes from Christoph Waltz's almost emotionless yet maniacal nature in that character, met with Tarantino's exceptional writing. And if you've ever seen it, that scene it's terrible what he says. The monologue is horrifying with the context that it's in, but it is just so well written, and it's so it's the type of scene you watch and you get goosebumps.
I think it also has to do with the ASMR of his voice too, in that fucking shot.
Well, all
like you could hear every fucking word, like how he says it.
It's just his enunciation and like the floorboards underneath is basically he went a little Nolan with that. But yeah, no, that scene. I can't wait till we get to that movie to revisit it. I haven't watched it in a bit. Yeah, no, that I don't know what my favorite. I honestly couldn't. I don't know because there's several of them that are in my top of all time. You know what I mean? Like Pulp Fiction's in the top of all time. I don't know what number, but it's there.
I don't know. Do you do decades? Do you do like?
For me, it would be the Kill Bill though.
That is the other thing, isn't it? It's like if some people are 90s Tarantino fans.
If you're doing Kill Bill, the way Tarantino counts is that's one movie, Kill Bill 1 and 2.
Yeah, I imagine it's a set.
Well, yeah.
Come together.
See, I remember when I saw Kill Bill in the theaters, we saw a late night showing of it. I was tired, and it starts off with just that Western music, and it's the gray, and it's kind of that slow pan. And then the gunshot happens. And that spooked the shit out of me in the theater. Like, I was like, it was so loud. And I was just kind of like tired and falling asleep a little because I was relaxed and I had worked or something that night. And then the gunshot happens, and I was like, oh, fuck. Like, it woke me right the fuck up. Because, that was back in the day when the theaters actually, you didn't have to pay $70 for a ticket that blew your fucking eardrums out. I'm going to point to Mortal Kombat's theatrical experience when I saw it.
Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah.
That was when theaters were like, no, we're going to turn it up to 12. Fuck 11. We're going to blow these bitches out.
Your soul is mine.
Oh, dude.
God, he screams so fucking loud in that theater.
On the boat, when Raiden comes in, it's like, and then when Scorpion and fucking Sub-Zero come in, like, all that is fog, but it's really loud.
And on the boat, when you could see the Christmas lights that Matt has in the back, essentially behind the black tarp.
All they have is like the backdrop and the same lights I have, and it's like, I know that's a painting. I have eyes. That's why that movie will never be made in 4K. Because if they did it in 4K, it would be worse than the old Batman movie.
You would see the wires.
Oh, you'd see the backdrop. That's a hand painting, just like in the old Batman movie when they're on the submarine. And it's clearly a hand-painted backdrop. The clouds look like Bob Ross did them.
You could see the pool, you mean? The submarine?
Well, it's the pool, and then like fucking Truman Show, it's a hard backdrop that's just painted to look like the ocean with the sky and stuff.
My favorite line from that fucking Batman 66 is when he goes, some days you just can't get rid of a bomb, and he's running around with a fucking big ass.
That, by the way, the scene that precedes that, he's on a fucking dock running with this giant bomb. And it's like some nuns, so he's got to go this way. Some women with kids in a stroller. He goes to ditch it. He goes to ditch it over the edge, and a dude comes out of the ladder, out of the water, fully dry. Like it's just goofy, purposefully goofy. All right, let's talk about.
I love that line.
Let's talk about Pulp Fiction. Whose story arc is your favorite in this movie? Because let's count them. We've got. Now, are we counting Vincent and Samuel L. Jackson's as one?
I would count them as one.
Okay, so we got those guys as one. We technically have the robbers, Tim Roth and Honey Bunny. We've got Bruce Willis and his French gal. We've got Ving Rhames, which also intermingles with Bruce Willis. So is that one or is that two?
I would say that's two.
I'm going to agree.
For what Ving Rhames goes through, it's two.
Well,
it's two.
Ving Rhames also is intertwined in other stories too. He's kind of one of the connecting tissues of everybody. And then you have who else? You have Uma Thurman and Vincent. That's another storyline. I mean,
square.
Yeah, that was
rectangle. You mean it's a rectangle?
So it starts off with Honey Bunny and I can't remember Tim Roth's character, but Tim Roth, where they have this. Pumpkin. They have this nice, calm conversation about where you should rob and what would be best, and they start talking about restaurants nobody ever thinks of it. And next thing you know, she's screaming at people that she's gonna blow their fucking heads off if they don't if they move. I hate her.
I don't like her either. That actress is
that voice.
I just wanted to was hoping somebody would shoot her dead immediately. I just couldn't. I just did not like her.
Isn't she the bad sister and So I Married an Ex-Murderer?
Dude, I haven't seen that movie. I can't remember, to be honest
with you.
I believe she's the sister.
So
I do like that movie, though.
Did anyone notice Kathy Griffin in this movie?
Yes. She's the fucking first one to get the fuck out of there.
I saw that fucking Ronald McDonald hair, and I go, "Oh, that's Kathy Griffin."
that same scene when Marcellus fucking shoots the fucking lady next to Butch.
Yes.
She fucking starts screaming, "Ah!"
Yeah.
And then she slaps herself in the face with blood.
Yeah, she does. And then she's on the ground like doing this too. That whole scene, I actually really, I think Bruce Willis, Butch, and Marcellus Wallace storyline combined is one of my favorites. Jen had forgotten the main part of that scene, and I was like, because she started to react of like when they start off where he runs him over, she started to react in a way to like she had never seen this before. And I looked at her, and I was like, "Do you not remember what happens here?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "Oh." And then
Marcellus Wallace lost his donuts.
Sam Jackson owns this movie, by the way.
He does.
Whether it's his scripture he's got memorized, or the whole, do they speak English in what, motherfucker? Say what again? That whole thing is just, that whole line of dialogue is too fucking brilliant.
Well, I love when so it goes from the honey bunny and what's his face talking,
yeah.
Mr.
and
Orange
then
Pumpkin.
they come to the conclusion that robbing a restaurant is the best way
You got more
to get
from,
away with
you got
money.
more
less
from the wallets.
confrontational.
Got more from the wallets than the register. Get the wallets.
Less confrontational. Yeah.
But then it jumps to Samuel Jackson and
Vincent
oh my God,
Vega
what's his name?
Travolta.
Yeah, Travolta.
Vinny.
Talking
Vinny
in the
Barbarino.
car. And I love Samuel Jackson's character
That's Joe
because
Piscopo.
as soon as he's listening in this conversation and he's talking to him in the car, I got the sense immediately, and this is when I first watched the movie, that he's done with this life. Like his responses are like, man, everything Travolta was telling him about, overseas sounded way better than what they're going through now. And he's so heavy in religion.
I don't know why.
Religious...
But I never paid attention to the fact that Travolta was in Amsterdam for 3 fucking years.
Yeah.
Like when you start this movie, it's like, oh, he was on there for vacation. And then they're like, how long? She asked him how long. He goes, 3 years. I was like, holy fuck. Like this wasn't just like he's been out of town for a little bit. Like he was living there. Okay.
That's where he got his habit of the H, probably.
Yeah.
Well, he even talks to the original Marty McFly about, I've been in Amsterdam for 3 years. Like,
By the way, Eric Stoltz acting in this was fucking much better than anything he's ever done.
Yeah, he's awesome in this.
I liked him. I fucking really liked him.
I'm not going to fucking do it. I tell you what, when I bring an overdosing bitch to your house, I'll do it. But you're going to do the needle this time. that whole line of dialogue is great.
You can't talk about this movie without discussing the theories of the briefcase.
I've heard a couple.
Briefcase?
It still blows that briefcase still blows my mind. Like, what the fuck was in it?
Literally, we know that it's just a light bulb in a briefcase as a prop.
We saw that in the opening trailer. In the opening trailer, it was a fucking cat. That's what it was.
It's a black cat. It was a glowing
black cat.
I mean, well, what even makes the briefcase more interesting is Tim Roth sees it and he goes, "Is that what I think it is?" Yeah. They're in no way connected. Tim Roth isn't in that universe of Marcellus Wallace. He's a low-level shithead robber. Yet he knows exactly what the fuck is in that briefcase, which means it's known at the minimum throughout the shitheel universe, throughout the garbage guys universe.
In there, it was a 4K copy of Congo and McCall's Navy.
You know what? I gotta be honest.
And like a couple of Matt's Christmas dogs.
True Lies, please. True Lies.
It was a Blu-ray. It was all the physical copies of Dogma. That's what was in there.
Ooh.
Physical copies of Dogma.
Yeah, Tarantino's never said either what
Harvey Weinstein stole.
I don't think he's ever said what was supposed to be in there. Yeah, it was Weinstein's shredded dick.
No, but one of the fan things that I read about was it's supposed to be Marcellus Wallace's soul. That's why the combination was 666 because he sold his soul to the devil.
Yeah,
I heard that too. 666.
That's one of the things I read about.
I will say this movie has religious undertones that are pretty wild.
That's one of the reasons why people thought about that too, because
there's also demonic theories about Reservoir Dogs and them being in hell.
Okay.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah, I feel like
they went to a deeper hell because they fucking
the circles, the rings. One of my favorite lines in this is right after Travolta shoots Marvin in the face. The way he says, like, "Oh, I shot Marvin in the face." Like, he doesn't even say it like he's spooked. Like, it goes boom, blood everywhere, and he goes, "Oh, I shot Marvin in the face." like just his tone when he says it makes me laugh every fuck. I literally after that scene, I kept going, "I shot Marvin in the face." Like, it just stuck with me.
So have you ever seen Welcome Back, Kotter? Or have you seen anything
Not
of it?
in years.
Okay, so I'm old enough to fucking see the reruns of it. So he keeps dropping into that fucking accent of Vinnie Barbarino
Yeah, a little
and
bit, yeah.
and a fucking New Yorker type. Like,
But that was kind of like his acting voice at that point, because I mean, the last movies he was in that did any sort of anything was Look Who's Talking movies, where he was like direct whatever. But before that, Vinnie Barbarino, his character from Grease, like that was his acting
Saturday Night
accent.
Fever. I don't know, because he had a regular voice in that.
No, he
It wasn't
didn't.
no. Yeah, it wasn't no Vinnie Barbarino though.
No, but it wasn't normal. He still had that, you know what I mean? Like, he still had that Stallone effect to his voice in that movie. They all fucking did. They all had that, like, what ended up becoming Jersey Shore trash voice, essentially. Like, that was his acting. Before he did Look Who's Talking, that was his acting persona. By the way, Look Who's Talking is technically 2 movies he's in with Bruce Willis, theoretically.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
Although, unlike Pulp Fiction, they probably never met during Look Who's Talking. Bruce Willis was in a fucking recording booth close to his home. He's like, yeah, I'll go into the studio and do my voice. I'm not going to show up in pants. We saw way too much pubic
fully
hair.
Retired from acting?
Yeah,
Bruce
he's
Willis?
done because you don't remember the strips too good anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell, like, I think one of the questions I had for Bruce Willis's modern movies was, like, why doesn't he fucking talk? Because a lot of his modern movies, he doesn't have many lines. And he all kind of, this is how he delivers his lines. He says them this way, and he kind of became that.
Very Steven Seagal-ish.
Yeah, almost like he's trying his best. Like, he can't act great because he's trying so, either that or he's being fed his lines. So there's a delay, like, which he did have an earpiece to be fed his lines. Yeah, his brain's just not processing and maintaining the scripts anymore. And you know what? Good, let him retire. Like, he's got a fairly young kid. He's happy.
Yeah.
Like, go retire and fucking don't do any more damage to your brain.
He actually still has money in his age.
Yeah, even though
he survived the Hollywood monster.
He's done 5 to 7 real big stinkers. But I mean, if you're Bruce Willis, right, and your mental abilities are degrading, but you need to make money to secure the future, you do 5 to 10 fucking B-level movies where you get paid $2-3 million a piece, and you sit on it. You know what I mean? Like, you've already got your millions from when you were hot, and so Pulp Fiction, by the way, was having a hard time getting funding, and Tarantino had already cast several roles, and he already had the idea of who he wanted to play for several roles, and he, by chance, his agent introduced him to Bruce Willis. And Bruce Willis basically said, I love Reservoir Dogs. Like, I want to be in I read your script for Pulp Fiction. I want to be this character. That character was Vincent Vega. And so he told me, I've already cast that to John Travolta. So the next character he wanted to be was Sam Jackson's. And he's like, I don't know. I already got somebody, but like, and Bruce Willis straight up told him, like, I get it. He's black. It's a black character. And he's like, well, yeah. And so then he goes, how about this? Go home, read the script again. Read for Butch. Tell me what you think of Butch. And so Bruce Willis called the next day and says, we're doing it. But that means Bruce Willis in his heyday would read an entire script in a night. So it is sad when you think about the degradation of, like, now he may be able to read it still, but the retention's gone. And, that sucks because, like Bruce Willis or not, he's integral to past and kind of present modern Hollywood. Like, Die Hard's a big fucking movie for any action fan. And he only got better from there. I mean, The Fifth Element is still one of my favorite movies from a pedophile.
That's one of his best movies.
I told Jen the other day we're watching it again soon because I haven't watched it in a while, and
I watched it Wednesday and Monday because I had Monday off. I watched it twice this week.
It's such a good fucking movie.
Have you seen like his
the whole movie?
Have you seen his older shit? Like Blind Date?
Hudson Hawk?
Yo, I love Hudson Hawk though. That's another one of my
Well, see, the story
favorites.
behind him is he was a fucking bartender / actor, and he had done. I think Hudson Hawk was after Die Hard, wasn't it? He was on a TV show, like soap opera thing, and he was a bartender while he was still up and coming, and they cast him in Die Hard, and his career blew up from there. Basically, Die Hard launched the modern Bruce Willis.
Hudson Hawk was after the first 2 Die Hards and the first 2 Look Who's Talking.
Yeah.
And then they made Hudson Hawk.
Yeah.
But
Die Hard really was his launching pad. I think he was in a TV show prior to that. But
Blind Date was also another one back in the 80s that made him popular with the 80s crowd because
was he in 9.5 Weeks as well? Was that him in that one?
No, that was Mickey Rourke.
Ooh, okay.
But blind date was he goes on a blind date with Kim Basinger, and the
Basinger?
guy, yeah, Basinger, whatever.
Bassinger.
I just remember
And
from
then
Simpsons when Homer falls in on her skylight, and he's
And-
like, "It's Kim Basinger," and she's like, "It's Basinger. Now get off me."
But in blind date, the protagonist is fucking John Larroquette, and
All right,
they
does
both
anybody
fall in
actually
love with
like
the same.
him? Like, don't get me wrong. I used to watch Night Court as a kid. It's awesome. He gave his voice to Texas Chainsaw. Does anybody like John Larroquette?
He's back on TV.
Yeah, you know what? Let's talk about. I know this is off topic. The '90s show fucking sucks.
Haven't
Haven't
watched
seen it.
it.
Speaking of
Haven't seen
rehashes,
it.
It's not directed towards you though, but you know that, right?
why
It's
not? I
directed-
was the fucking audience at the beginning. Why isn't it directed? Do these fucking
Because the
kids
audience-
don't care about this show?
The audience who binge watched it, the binge watched '70s show, is watching the '90s show now.
Bullshit. These
Directed
assholes
towards them.
nowadays that do Fortnite dances on TikTok don't give a fuck about Red and Kitty. It's the 30-somethings like my dumbass that watched it when it was live on TV, then binge watched it, streamed it, then they pulled it from Netflix, so I bought the fucking Blu-ray set. No, it should have been directed towards me instead of I got to deal with a coming-of-age story about a geeky fucking kid, which I would have been okay with had the other cast that came back, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, are literally 3 minutes of footage in the entire series, 10 episodes.
Just a cameo.
Yes, literally a cameo.
It's in the second episode.
Eric is in the show a little bit. He's probably a total of maybe 5 to 10 minutes of footage. Donna's in it more than him, but just barely. Fez is in a few episodes. And it's not the problem necessarily is that it's a coming of age story about the girl. The problem is they try to rehash what they did in the 70s in modern woke culture today while making something in the 90s which was anti-woke. Woke didn't exist in the 90s, as Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs will prove to you. The N-word was in vernacular. So it's a show set in an era that had no fucking limits, about a show that was set in another era that had no limits, yet I gotta watch Netflix whitewashing of what was a funny fucking program. It doesn't feel like that 70s show. It doesn't have the charm of that 70s show. It's just not good.
It sounds like it would have made more sense if they just skipped the 90s and said that 2000 show.
Well, it's instead of, doing something new with the kids that are in the group, it's instead of Fez, you have the overtly gay Asian kid who from the beginning it's okay, he's the gay one. You have Kelso's kid, you have another kid that looks like Kelso's kid but isn't. You've got a black girl and you've got another chick, and then you've got Eric's, but the Hyde doesn't exist anymore because he's a fucking grapist. So he's not even fucking mentioned.
Like, say those words.
Well, on the stream, grape's the term, because if you say that on Twitch, there is potential for you getting fucked if somebody were to report it. YouTube probably as well, and it's all fucking Nazi run at this point. Have you heard about the YouTube policies of can't curse? And the problem is
stupid.
The problem is
so stupid.
If you're a YouTube video game streamer, you basically can't play any modern M-rated title without the potential of your fucking video being demonetized if you're monetized, because it's just attacking profanity. It's not even just language. If it's a violent video game, it could do it. But they're supposed to be rehashing those rules. But
yeah, in the rules now, potentially playing Dead Space on YouTube could get your
Dead Space. I mean, any game that's got language, any game that's any game. I mean, think any M-rated title at this point. They all have the F word. What's that?
Any game that kills aliens.
I mean, basically, any gore, language, profanity, and then the other rules are within the first 15 seconds if you've got a curse word.
Did you know that you could put the video of somebody giving birth of full fucking video?
Yeah, you can also go search nude yoga
because it's educational purposes.
Full body nudity because it's educational.
What?
Type up
Maybe you should tag
gynecology
that
on YouTube. Watch what you get. It's
Well,
disturbing.
I mean, if you're searching nude yoga, are you seeing the creme de la creme, or are you seeing
Type up gynecology on YouTube.
Everything.
No,
Watch
Giovanni,
what you get.
No. Don't listen to Giovanni. What you look into is so when I did search nude yoga to see what would come up, because somebody told me, they go, You can. This is on YouTube. Look it up. And I go, no, it's not. So
I think I told
it.
you.
Yeah, maybe. And then so the next one of the videos it recommended was my first waxing, and I shit you not. This is on YouTube out there. It is some
It's
white.
educational.
It
If
is
you tag it educational,
an educational video where some
if you
white
explain
girl
it-
is fully bottom nude as they wax her lady bits. YouTube has got some of the dumbest. Like, if I just post a video playing with my sack and put educational and say this is how you check for lumps, am I going to get away with that? I think I might.
To shave your nuts.
Like, if you're a woman, could you go out there and give
Do it
yourself a
live.
breast exam and post it on YouTube and go, it's educational. You squeeze the tits this way. But if you curse or have violence playing a video game, you can be demonetized.
It's so stupid. It makes no fucking sense.
You gotta make everything educational, man. Talk about how fucking shooting an alien with a fucking what is it? What was the gun that he uses?
The probe.
Isaac? Yeah, that can turn fucking this way.
Oh.
And this way.
By the way,
take his legs out this way or this way.
I never found the Ripper gun better than in the remake. The Ripper gun is the shit.
Ripper gun is
in the
amazing.
remake.
Yeah.
I never used it.
I never did either. I was always a plasma cutter guy.
Well, I heard that they buffed, not buffed, but they upped a couple of weapons.
They had to
in
have,
the
because
old
that
one,
Ripper just
yeah.
shreds now, man. It's a really good. So Lewis says I convinced him to buy it. All I simply said was, it's the game you want. I have played it, and my review of it thus far is it's the same goddamn game, but looks a hell of a lot better, and your experience will be better. And he made the decision to buy it.
No.
No
I
loading
don't
between
recall.
chapters too is pretty phenomenal.
By the way, if you play it on PC, I guess install it on your SSD. I gotta uninstall it, reinstall it on my SSD, because they don't tell you this when you read about it, but when the game starts up, it goes, if it's not playing on an SSD, it might have some problems performance-wise.
Oh.
So now I'm thinking that some of the issues I had during stream were because I didn't have installed on a fucking SSD. So
I don't have enough room on my SSD for anything.
You need to get another one. I mean, I literally saw a 2T fucking standard SSD for it's like $80 today. I mean,
my external Xbox drive here that's holding all my Steam games. It's 2 terabytes and it's a solid state, and it was like $80.
Yeah, the SSD drives
Send
are.
me those links.
So I actually had to do the experience where I added an M2 slot to my PS5. That was interesting, and I don't fully understand Sony's objective here. And I did put the cover back on, but when you pull the cover off and you insert the stick, and you put the cover on, doesn't seem like there's much ventilation for the memory. So
really,
yeah, and like here's the thing: you really, when you buy the memory, you have to. So on M2s, they actually have heat sinks because they run so hot.
Somebody.
So you have to.
Heat sinks on.
You have to. Well, you can buy one without it, but you have to then get an aftermarket heat sink and put it on yourself. Or like the one I got, which I got for dirt cheap, and it was a Japanese company, and I had no idea, and I was like, I don't know if it's going to be safe, but I need space. Then I found out that it's literally a subsidiary of Sony. So I'll link you if you ever want to put an M2 in your. It was $80 for a T. And yeah, and I don't fully understand it. So there may be a period of time where I end up popping the top off and taking the cover off of it, simply because like there's no ventilation in the little space they have for the M2. So. But yeah, no, SSDs are getting cheaper. I'll send you links when I see them. I'm always looking at deals I can't afford myself. So I do enjoy the Vincent Vega Uma Thurman storyline. The whole time it's kind of got that like, you're an idiot. Stop it. Like, you need to be cool. One of my favorite lines from that segment, and he's like, I gotta see what a $5 fucking milkshake tastes like. And he takes the sip and he's like, that's a good motherfucking milkshake. That scene always cracks me up. I love Travolta in this movie. This movie is why Travolta was a star again. Before this, he had done the Look Who's Talking movies, and his career was shit. It was dead. He had nothing going on. Tarantino wrote the role and wanted him specifically in the role. He said yes, and this movie is responsible for launching Travolta again. Because you gotta remember, after this, you had things like Broken Arrow and Face Off and all those movies.
Earth.
Yeah, all those movies he's known for in the 90s came because he was in Pulp Fiction, and it made him a star again. It was his rebirth.
Face Off is his greatest movie, and I don't care who.
I
Damn,
love
is that
Face
movie
Off.
good?
So good.
You got. The one scene that always makes me laugh is after he's got Nicolas Cage's face, but he's still got Travolta's voice. He's just like, fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! He's basically doing the fucking Dave Chappelle.
Are they still doing a remake or a sequel?
The rumor was they were.
Ooh, really? To Face Off?
Although the last movie I saw Travolta was in was a movie about an aging race car driver who decides to enter the races again because his son joins a rival team. Not joking.
Mm.
Yeah, Travolta looks pretty scary looking. He looks very Scientology these
Have
days.
you ever seen From Paris with Love?
Is that the bald one?
Yes,
Where
that is
bald?
where he's a total... He basically
not.
rips off Liam Neeson's character and is just a total badass. It's an awesome fucking movie.
Let's see, what was his last movie he was
I'm
in?
pretty sure it's that race car movie I was just talking about. So,
Let's see.
I mean, but that's the weird thing about this movie is there is so much good dialogue. Like, after Marcellus Wallace gets raped and Bruce Willis rescues him, when Bruce Willis asks him, like, you good? Are you okay? And he's like, nah, man, I'm pretty far from fucking okay. Like, it's kind of a dumb question, but you know that in that scene, Bruce Willis is like, are we okay? Is what he really fucking means. He doesn't...
Then he clarifies and he goes, yeah, two things.
Yeah. And here's the thing, right? Now, how much money... So Jen and I were talking about this. From my opinion, it was 3 10K stacks in that envelope, so 30 grand, right?
Yeah.
About, you would assume. If he put that 30 grand on himself, what do you think the odds were against him?
Well, it was fixed because it was the word
rigged.
around town.
Well, no, but it was rigged. But here's the thing: he set the bet up to be in his favor. So what were the odds where he was going to lose because the town figured it fixed? Like, they never said the odds, but he probably took that 30 grand and put it on himself to win. What were the odds against him is what I want to know. Because if it's 100 to 1, that's 300,000. If it's 1,000 to 1, that's 3 million. You know what I mean? Like, how much money did he win from that?
Didn't he make a reference to, like, it's in the millions in the movie? I could have sworn he said something like that.
No, the guy told him something about you being retiring as a millionaire, sipping Mai Tais.
So if that's the case, we're gonna go on the assumption that it's 1,000 to 1 minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So that's if all he put on there was the 30K that Marcellus Wallace gave him. We don't know what else he put on there. He could have put 100K. So, but he also does say, like, we're gonna be good, but we can't live the high life, the rest of our days.
I was gonna say it wasn't 30K because he bought a drink at the bar.
It was a little less.
$29,995.
And $1.40 pack of cigarettes.
Do you really think Marcellus Wallace he tipped her? But do you think Marcellus Wallace's club is going to charge him for a drink?
Yeah, no.
Does Marcellus Wallace look like a bitch?
They charged him for the fucking pack of cigarettes, man. $1.40.
I was saying $1.40 for cigarettes is God. I wish we had $1.40 prices. I'd be addicted to them again.
Marcellus Wallace is telling him and reminding him, don't let pride get in your head.
And then he says it to him as he's punching him in the face later on too. One of the crazy things about that scene to me is once again the terrible language in the vernacular when he tells Bruce Willis, get off the N-word. Like, and it's just, like I said, the weird thing about Tarantino's writing is it's just so fucking nonchalant. It's like these people that just say this in their everyday conversations. They're open about it.
Yeah, but I mean, in Reservoir Dogs in this movie, you're following assassins, criminals. So that conversation is between their type of underground scavy people that they meet day to day.
Yeah, it's all
it's
shit.
Colorful language. It's colorful language. It's all
funny thing-
racism. It's all downplaying. It's all swearing. Like, that's what it is.
The funny thing too is back then when he was getting like abrasive interviews for his movies, none of it was about language. All of the like hit piece interviews were about the violence.
Yep.
Yeah, and also,
Which blows my mind.
have you ever seen that interview? They tried to talk about violence in movies, and he's like, I'm not talking about that. He had an interview. I can't remember who the interviewer was, but he brought up violence in his movies and how it connects, and Tarantino shut him right the fuck down. And he's like, it's a movie. He's like, I'm not, he's like, it's a movie. It's entertainment. This isn't, my movies don't cause violence. I think I do a pretty okay Tarantino. You're a slave. That's all every time I think of Tarantino, you're a fucking slave. And I think my impersonation of that is actually impersonating Jamie Foxx's impersonation of Quentin Tarantino. Because in the interview, Jamie Foxx goes full in, you're a fucking slave. And he's got like Tarantino's voice down fucking pat.
Yeah, he's always been criticized for his violence in films. And the funny thing is those people that do it, you can tell that they don't actually watch his film because they don't pick up on the dialogue. They don't they just that was back then when they just gravitated towards hit pieces of like, oh, you just put out this type of movie.
Well, I mean, look at
They
Reservoir
go
Dogs.
on the buzzwords of everybody else's.
Yeah.
Well, look at Reservoir Dogs too. It paints none of those people as heroes. Even the cop is painted as a piece of shit because he ices the old broad who shoots him. Like no character, I'd even argue no character in Pulp Fiction is good. Not a single person. Not the wolf's not good. Jimmy maybe as close as you can get to good because he's not really in on the violence. He's in more on drug dealing and shit like that or whatever he's into. Like, but none of these characters are what you would call a good person in any way.
I was going to argue for oh fuck, what's his face? Tarantino's character
Mr.
in
Brown?
the movie, but
Jimmy?
no, Tarantino's
Jimmy,
character
Jimmy.
in Pulp Fiction, Jimmy. But he even helps clean up the fucking mess.
Well,
he allows them to clean up there. He allows them to clean up.
Of course, I know my coffee is good. My wife, she goes to the store, she buys shit. I know what's good. I buy the fucking coffee. I know my coffee's good. That gourmet shit. Sam Jackson, you can pull out the gourmet shit, Jimmy. I love Sam Jackson. There's 2 movies with Sam Jackson where he, in my opinion, owns the fucking movie, and that is this movie, and that is Die Hard 3. Yes, John McClane is the hero in Die Hard 3, but Sam Jackson's dialogue when he gets in the taxi cab, Zeus, father of Apollo, Mount Olympus, don't fuck with me, I'll stick a lightning bolt up your ass. Zeus, he said, hey, Zeus. Sam Jackson is I can't say he's underrated, right? Because he's probably a little overrated, frankly. However, his work in the late 80s and 90s is some of the best work you can see for an actor. Negotiator's another great one.
I think the first time I noticed him was it To Kill a Mockingbird? Was that what it is?
He is not in To Kill a Mockingbird.
Which one? No, which
A
one
Time
was
to
that?
Kill.
Time to Kill.
Yes, I hope they deserve to die. I hope they burn in hell.
No, because I could have sworn they remade the fucking Kill a Mockingbird.
No, that was a time. That's actually another really good fucking movie where he plays another excellent fucking character. There is a movie that I guarantee you none of you have seen. It is a Sam Jackson movie that I don't even know if you could buy or watch anywhere. It's called The Caveman's Valentine.
I've seen parts of it, yeah.
And it is a drama, a slow-moving movie where he's like a homeless dude. And it's kind of his journey where but it's an amazing movie. I'm going to try to track it down because I haven't seen it in years. And I remember it was one of those movies where I was working at Blockbuster and my wife at the time because she worked, we used to live on the north side, she worked on the south side, so she would stay at her mom's house on the south side. And I'd get 2 days, Friday night and Saturday night, where I had nothing to do. So I'd go to fucking Blockbuster, pick out a movie, and it was one of those ones where you just randomly grab. And I watched it late at night. I remember sitting in my living room watching it late at night going, this is a great fucking movie. How come I've never heard of this fucking movie? And it's one of those ones of his that went under the radar that really, in my opinion, shows how good of an actor he is. So if you can find it, I don't know if you can, but A Caveman's Valentine, if you're a Sam Jackson fan.
Never heard of it.
It is not your typical Sam Jackson. It is not the stereotype of motherfucking planes on a motherfucking snake. This movie, okay, yeah, so it came out in 01. I honestly don't know where you'd be able to watch it. I'll have to look that up. But I don't quite remember the exact synopsis. Basically, he's a bum who ends up trying to help track down a killer. This kid gets killed in like the park and he partially witnesses, if I remember it correctly. I honestly don't even know. Like I'll look it up right now, but I don't think you can buy this fucking movie anywhere digitally at all. Like Caveman's Valentine on Amazon, you can get a DVD copy of it for $6 or a VHS tape. That goes to show you 01 and they had a VHS tape, and that's the only other edition you can get. Something's amuck about this. I'm gonna say people need to they need to bring this movie back. Give it a little bit of a Blu-ray or something.
Is it held by Weinstein?
Ooh, no, Universal.
Your favorite.
Yeah, fuck you. You guys watch Violent Night? You guys, did I cut out there?
Not yet.
I watched it.
I need to check it out.
What'd you think of it, Giovanni?
No. You did.
Did you like it? I loved it. I
Two
really
of you
liked
saw it? All right.
I have not seen it.
My Discord's acting up. You guys are cutting out on me. I don't know what that's
Oh,
about.
you were frozen for a second.
Yeah,
there.
you're skipping around.
Yeah. Well, let's just we'll wrap it up here soon. I don't know what the fuck that was about. Something's going on with Discord. One video service sucks dick. The other one's not much better. I don't know what the fuck to do anymore. Just cut my wrist and bleed out on stream. At this point. Yeah, no, Pulp Fiction, in my opinion, that's why I gave Reservoir Dogs a 4, because I'm going to give Pulp Fiction a 5. This movie is really where you start, like Reservoir Dogs, kind of like his movies, gives you a little piece of what Tarantino can do. And then Pulp Fiction comes in, and it gives you another 2 pieces. And I feel like by the time you get to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you've almost got this puzzle built purely of the pieces Tarantino has given you to kind of the insight of the genius in his writing. And I that's why I gave Reservoir Dogs a 4, because this is a 5, and one of the big things is the evolution between his writing and everything else is incredible. I mean, the way things are shot, and like I said, Reservoir Dogs is one of my favorite scenes that you didn't see a lot back then, which is the outside music cuts out, he goes to the trunk, as soon as he enters inside the warehouse, again, the music's back, and it's the way he puts music to his movies is one of my favorite things about how he does films. He's got an awesome kind of, that's kind of how my mind thinks as well. When I build a track, when I'm putting a song together, or whether I'm making, I've talked to you guys about it. When I've made our short films, I've shown you intros with actual music in it to where like, that I kind of do that too. There's songs in my head, and I have a film that we're going to film soon where I have copywritten music that I'm going to make 2 versions of the movie. One I can release on YouTube, and one I'm going to show my friends where there's actual music in there. And that's one of the things about him that I've always loved. He's got his sharp writing, but he's also got that ear to where he can put good shit, a good soundtrack to a scene. I mean, look at the Stuck in the Middle with You as he does his weird dance as he's about to cut his fucking ear off. Like, it's brilliant. But yeah, I'm obviously, this movie's a 5. I think I love every part of this movie. Every person you see, like you get the bad guy from The Mask is Zed. You know, you see Kathy Griffin's in there as a bystander who witnesses the crash.
The other bad guy.
What's that?
Kathy Griffin, the other bad guy.
Yeah, she was portraying Ronald McDonald at the time. Fucking bitch. This is an anti-Kathy Griffin stream. Sorry. Not sorry. But yeah, like, I don't know. I love this movie. It's one of his top 3 for me, easily. I mean, Bruce Willis was already big, but this movie shot him further. This movie made him bigger. Travolta was on the wind down. This revitalized him. Sam Jackson, this gave Sam Jackson that persona. You know, his motherfucking this, motherfucking that persona is his character is Jules in Pulp Fiction. Like, so much of modern cinematography and modern stars and these people that we hold in the highest regards, this was their launching pad. Or at
I
least
want to have a Willy
integral in it.
Wonka moment, but is Vin Rhames dead or is he alive?
He's got the meats.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Michael Clark Duncan is dead. Ving Rhames eats so much Arby's, he has meat sweats and constantly has to breathe like this when he talks.
Oh, he's only 63. Okay, he's alive.
He's only 63, and he's eaten more red meat in the past 6 years than your average American should consume in their entire lives.
None of that is pork.
What are your hot? Speaking of red meat, hot dogs, Alex. How many?
Well, at this point, should we
All right,
start?
for me?
Should we start rating them in feet? Because this is where Tarantino's foot
Oh
obsession
God.
starts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't get the feet
the
obsession.
quick shot of her feet when she's talking to him, and then she comes downstairs and I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, then there's that whole scene in from Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah,
Where he's staring. Not even the like one where she's talking to him, but there's a moment where he's like staring at her feet. He's just a fucking pervert.
It also goes in 4 rooms.
You keep fucking talking about that. He literally directed one fucking segment.
And that's probably what
He's
it
a
was.
freak. He's a fucking freak.
For me, this was a 1.
You're
I'm
an
just kidding.
idiot.
I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna do the Dwight Schrute idiot.
Idiot,
Nah,
idiot.
it is a 5 for me. It goes from seeing how fucking dumb Butch is to where he's wiping down the fucking gun that he shot fucking Vinny with a fucking Kleenex only on one side, and he's like got his hand in the jacket. I was like, what the fuck's he doing? Butch is not a fucking smart guy, but Bruce Willis plays such a good not smart guy.
The scene where she didn't get his watch.
Oh,
And he goes from like, sweetie, my lemon butter, and then it's like,
Realistic.
are you have any idea how fucking stupid you are?
You
Like,
only
he
had
literally
one
tells her
fucking
that.
thing. Burn the rest of the
Yeah.
fucking shit that I own. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and then the where he's in the cab and she's like, that boxer died. And then you think you see remorse in him, and then he's like on the phone later, he's like, should have been a better boxer. It's like, what a dick.
Yeah.
What a dick.
I love the butt watch story. It was hilarious in this movie.
I had this in my ass for 3 years.
It's an uncomfortable hunk of metal.
Fucking
Was up
Christopher
my ass
Walken
2 years.
out of nowhere. Like, nobody, like, out of nowhere, Christopher Walken fucking arrives.
Comes out of nowhere.
You
to
see
talk about
his
a watch up
silhouette
his
and
ass.
you know it's Christopher Walken. All you see is his silhouette and you know it's Christopher
I
Walken.
mean, he's
man.
probably an incredibly nice guy, but Christopher Walken, after he did, whatchamacallit, where he played the devil, or Lucifer, or no, he played Gabriel.
That's Prophecy. Isn't
Prophecy.
Opposite, yeah.
After he did Prophecy, when he had that dark black hair that he had for years,
Oh yeah.
he's a creepy looking motherfucker. He's like violent Mr. Burns. Like,
I think
Christopher Walken play the devil as well in an Adam Sandler movie.
Oh,
Controller.
Nikki?
little
No.
Nicky. No, that was Harvey
you're
Keitel.
thinking of Flick?
Oh, Glick.
No,
Click.
Yeah.
Oh, Click. Yeah.
Well,
That's a sad movie.
not the devil, the angel of death, I think is what he was supposed to be.
That's a sad.
Oh,
fuck-
okay, yeah. No,
So
it
you
was the
say
Angel of
that,
Death.
but
it is a sad
it's
movie.
only sad because the last scene, but the last scene like brings it all back though. Like the scene where he's dying of a heart attack in the rain outside of the hospital. Yeah, that's pretty sad. But then it's like, oh, none of it happened, and I'm still married to the hot chick from Underworld. Cool.
I know,
Fuck,
but
I was thinking about.
even while you're watching that movie, you're just like, this is heavy. Like,
I gotta be
Yeah.
honest. One of Adam Sandler's movies that I like, but I haven't seen in a while, was that Bedtime Stories he did.
It's a good movie.
I haven't watched it since the Blockbuster days though, but I noticed it was on Disney Plus, so I'm giving it thought.
I was thinking about my second movie
Jumping up
for
and
the
down
wave
the
of
alligators.
shitty movies, but I think Matt likes this movie too. It's the one where the family gets the cable company to rent the satellite, and the satellite sucks you into the television
Stay
channels.
tuned.
Stay
Stay tuned.
tuned.
It's
I
awesome.
love that
That's
movie.
with John Ritter.
Okay,
John
so
Ritter.
That can't be
Dude,
part of that. Yeah.
John Ritter too. There's another movie, but I wouldn't add it into the bad movies, called Real Men with him and James
Oh, I
Belushi.
love Real Men.
That movie's amazing.
Never
It's
seen it.
I don't know,
literally,
if you're gonna do that, then I'm bringing Star Kid to the table. You fucking get it.
Starkid.
dude. I'm
John
telling-
Ritter's
so
supposed to be a
good.
scientist.
Don't fuck with me if you bring in Star Kid. You goddamn assholes are watching Mario Van Peebles in Solo. Don't fuck around.
I want to watch
I'm-
Mario Van Peebles in Highlander.
I'm gonna encourage you to YouTube the Solo trailer and understand the terms I am saying. It will not be good. Mark my fucking words.
Stay tuned this year, guys, for another showdown with 4 terrible movies.
Stay tuned for Stay Tuned.
Don't fuck with me. I'm
How about Mom and Dad Saves the Earth?
I don't even know what the
fucking,
fuck that is.
That's with the fucking guy from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the principal.
Oh, the pervert, the pedophile.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah,
it's
the
probably going to be
pedophile.
batteries not
Didn't he
included.
die too?
He is.
Didn't
He.
die too?
I don't know if he's dead. I think he might be, but they arrested him with child porn on his computer.
Yep.
He's
Oh
a
my
pedo.
God.
Yep.
Who?
The principal
the
from Ferris
principal
Bueller.
from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's dead or not, but I don't think he is actually. But I know they found child porn on his computer, or he was trying to talk to a kid or something. Like, he got arrested for that shit.
Ed
Yeah.
Rooney?
Yeah, he's a pedo.
What?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, all of Hollywood is pedos. That's why
Hollywood
all
is
that's why all of the fucking kids who were actors in the 70s are fucked up. That's why Charlie Bucket left the industry after Willy Wonka, because he didn't want dicks up his ass.
They tried to bribe him with chocolate. He's like, "Fuck this."
Literally,
shit, man.
Charlie
I'm
Bucket said fuck Hollywood so much that he went and became a veterinarian instead. He used his Willy Wonka money
With
to
a
fund
good ass
school.
fucking mustache, dude. He had a fucking good mustache.
He's
Or-
dead too,
or he
I
still
think,
does.
actually.
No, he's still alive.
Sure about that?
Yes, I believe he. No, did he pass? No.
Lewis, I hate to tell you this, but Gene Wilder's dead. Just in case you had forgotten.
It's a 5 for me.
Giovanni.
This is an easy 5. From the dialogue to, I love this movie. I'm so glad we got to watch it. Like, it's so fucking good. There's nothing bad in this movie. And yeah, Samuel L. Jackson definitely steals the show. He is like the number one.
Him and Travolta,
movie.
I think, are my favorite 2 characters from the movie. I love I shot Marvin in the face. I love Travolta in this, dude.
I mean, even the scenes where he doesn't fucking say anything, like when he's standing,
The famous.
Well, he's fucking high on heroin.
not only
when he's
that,
doing
but
it.
the one where he walks her to the room and he says goodbye and he's standing there like, and she's like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, no, I'm okay." He's like, "All right, I'm gonna go home and have a heart attack." Like
Yeah.
but the way he's
But
standing
when
is
he-
like, "Fuck."
When he's in her apartment before she ODs, and he's like, "You're gonna go home. You're gonna jerk off. You're not gonna do anything."
Yeah. They also have like some foreshadowing. Now that you've seen his entire filmography, you see the foreshadowing of his other movies. So he's got the Fox Force 5. He's got fucking the Vega brothers. You know, and that's kind of cool. Like how you see
It does
now.
suck. It does suck that they wipe out both of the Vega brothers, because that would be a cool character to bring back in a later movie.
Well, it could be something like a pre-story, but
You can't do the same
it with
actors.
Travolta because
Yeah, I mean, unless you're gonna do fucking the Irishman level of fucking de-aging.
yeah,
Because Michael Madsen ain't looking like Michael Madsen anymore. He looks like a
it doesn't
fucking
sound like him.
puddle of goo.
She's describing Kill Bill in the movie, right?
Yes,
Her story.
Is that what? That's what it's alleged that she's
that's what.
describing.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
the Fox Force 5 is supposed to be.
Yeah. Which was the group of the assassins that before
The 5 girls.
Technically, that would be the story before Kill Bill.
Right.
That would be the story of them as assassins. Rumor
That was
is
Kill Bill training them.
see, he's only got
whatnot.
one movie left. Real quick before we go
Yeah.
into it, Lewis, what's your score?
It's definitely a 5. It's a better film. I Reservoir Dogs is my favorite of the 2, but this one on every technical level, dialogue, cinematography, it's just music. It's a 5.
Progression of his skills.
I still love the quote from Harvey Keitel in the diner. You even shoot me in a dream, you better wake up and apologize. Like there's so many lines that you don't realize come from these movies. Like there's so many things that people still say that are from these fucking movies and not the N-word. People still say it, it's just not because of these movies.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, look at Mel Gibson. I'm sure he's got some problems with getting blown in hot tubs. I have that soundbite. We'll play
But
it
he
later.
was the reason why Robert Downey Jr. did come back from his fucking slump.
Who?
Robert Downey
Mel
did
Gibson.
thank Mel Gibson. Yeah.
For bringing him back for Singing Detective.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Are we supposed to pretend that any Hollywood people are like normal? Like, it's the type of thing. Like, am I going to excuse somebody for being a racist? And Mel Gibson, honestly, I don't know if he's racist, but because of his religious beliefs, he's probably got some kooky thoughts. But it's like,
I
it's
don't think
Hollywood.
it's
They're
that
all
we-
fucking crazy.
I don't think it's that we're supposed to pretend to. It's that when it happens, we're supposed to pretend to be shocked.
Yeah, it's like I'm not shocked that Britney Spears shaved her head. I'm not shocked. You know, it's like, why
We
are
all
we?
have to have that.
Why aren't we of the understanding that these people don't live in the same world we live in? They just
Listen,
Oh yeah, to
Michael
make
Jackson
it was
slept with those kids.
don't. In a
But
bed,
he was a damn good singer.
he gave him Jesus juice, but never had sex with them. Or are you saying he totally pedoed them?
But as Michael Jordan
Hey,
says,
kids, want a
fuck them kids.
popsicle?
Michael Jordan. You can't even be Michael Jordan. Why? Because Michael Jordan invested in the private prisons. So because of that, the black people said he was no longer black. Because prisons are filled with black people.
He wanted to make money.
Well, he should have never played baseball then. It's a bad choice, Mike. All right, Lewis, you said what again?
5.
We're all 5, of course. I have a feeling a lot of these going forward are going to be 5s mostly. Yeah, so next week, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Alex and I haven't discussed it yet. We got to figure that shit out.
I think you tossed up an idea about wrestling movies
Which
too.
we got to get back to. We got to discuss that.
You and I never talked about it much after that, but I remember the text that you.
Yeah, I had a concept in my head of, since we're both into wrestling, out of the four of us, we're the two that are into wrestling. The idea was, we can do episodes that are wrestling themed, where it's, like our normal format, except our bullshitting is going to be about wrestling, and the movie we're watching either is going to be starring a wrestler, about wrestling. So concept
Ready
would
to
be
Rumble.
Ready to Rumble,
That
Mr.
would be in there,
Nanny,
yeah.
Suburban Commando. I mean, you can even, if you want to include
The one I told you about.
Yeah, that weird one. If you want to include things like the early Rock movies, like the Rundown when he was still mainly in WWE produced movies.
Journey to the Center of True.
No. Movies no.
No,
Yeah, we'll just add in fucking Jumanji. And the other idea was like movies about wrestling, whether it is The Wrestler, Beyond the Mat, if we can find it, just something a little different, but we got to discuss it. It's an idea that's thrown out there. We'll also, out of the 4 weeks throughout the month, we'll probably end up taking more and more.
Or it might be Tarantino involved still,
Yeah, we have other movies, to talk about in that realm,
That
Tarantino-esque movies, things like that. So we have to discuss what's up with next. We may take a week Friday off. We've been going at this show for 2 years now. We don't miss a whole lot of weeks. We've done a lot of I mean, this is labeled as episode 82. We have a few missed weeks in between from episodes that we lost. So factor in, we've been doing this at about 90 weeks. So a year and a half, constant for the most part. So we're going to discuss it. We might be back next week. If not, I also have the idea of, instead of doing an episode, we do a co-stream and we try to get everybody together for golf and shit like that. So where we can, whatever. But yeah, that was the idea. So we'll get back to it. If we're not here next week, if we decide to take a week off, we'll be back the next week with something else. And then the third week, that's right, we're staggering. So next week we'll see what's up. The week after will be us four again for a
What's
pairing.
the next Tarantino 4-piece that we're doing?
Jackie Brown and I think we're
doing it by release, right?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a bit of an issue there. I think we're going to have to go Jackie Brown, Death Proof, and then the Kill Bills.
Yeah, because the Kill Bills have to be together. Death Proof
it's going to be one.
So
also, the Hateful Eight, because we're doing the extended cut, I believe is one.
Yeah, one episode. Yeah,
the extended cut, I think, is the episodic version on Netflix.
It's 4 parts. It's about 3.5 hours long. So that'll be dedicated to one episode. I think the next one we're going to have to do to make sense, even if Death Proof came after, which I'm pretty sure it did, is going to be Jackie Brown and Death Proof, and then Kill Bill 1 and 2, and then I want to say Inglourious Bastards, Django.
So by year, it is Jackie Brown and then the Kill Bills and then Grindhouse.
So yeah,
and Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, so we'll do Jackie Brown, and next time we do so a month from now when we're doing the next Quentin Tarantino movie episode, we'll be doing Jackie Brown and Death Proof. And then not next week, but the next episode we're doing together, all 4 of us, I think we're considering at least Toys and Small Soldiers.
You know that Tarantino actually did an episode of ER?
Really? Was he in it or did he direct it?
No, he directed it. That's fucking pretty cool. One episode.
I used to watch ER. I liked it.
I'd like to find that episode just to see what it was.
All right, everybody.
Cool.
Thank you for hanging out with us. Share, like, subscribe, all that fun shit. Until next time.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button.
Smash your button. Everybody have a wonderful night.